streaming. Okay. Oh shit. I clicked to the wrong button. Okay. Go back to YouTube, black screen. Whew. Okay. Live stream. Hey. Hey. Okay. That is slightly fantastic, but I'm muted. So if I don't mute,
Okay.
there we go. And I have audio. All right. Let me fix my camera here. I don't want to fix it there. I want to fix it here. Wrong way. Right about there. Now I need to move. Oh, no, this way. This. There we go. Okay, fantastic. I believe we are live. I believe.
Awesome.
Pam is going to tell me. I've got Pam as moderator, although we haven't really figured out how to moderate yet. But I've got her to come in. Is she in yet? Nope. Or she might be, but I can't see any chats. Plus, I need to go to. I just need to find me. Okay, now we crapped out. Why'd we crap out? Okay, we're back. Good. I'm monitoring everything very closely today, so.
No worries.
Yeah, let me just go like this. Shit. Yeah, I know. Get your live page on the top right near. Click the share. Okay. That's easy. That is easy. There we go. There we go. There we go. And there we go. Okay, let's see if Pam is live here. There we go. I need to mute. Okay, so Pam.
You're sharing the link on the Facebook page.
Yeah, I should send out the link really like right away as well, but maybe Pam can do that when she gets in here. I only have about 16 things on the go.
No worries. We did have an update this 3 hours ago. One of the people in the group, Tammy, brought it to my attention that there was a reel by Mary Renaud that went out saying that we could request our files, like our AISH files.
Yeah.
So I was kind of racing the clock to make this a little bit more accessible to everybody. So I just wanted to bring attention to that really quick. So how to request your own AISH file, free, your right, and here's how it actually works. A few people in the group have been asking about this after Mary Renaud reel. Yes, you can request your full AISH file. Yes, it's free, and here's how to actually do it. What it's called now, as of June 11th, 2025, the Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act was repealed and replaced with the Access to Information Act. Same right, new name. You're filing a personal access request, a request for records about yourself. So the cost is free. There are two different kind of streams for this. There's a $25 fee only that applies to general non-personal requests. Requests about you are no charge. Two ways to file. So you can file online through your alberta.ca account. So alberta.ca/submit-a-FOIP-request, and you can select personal access request. The URL still uses the old name. It goes to the right place.
Okay.
And then two, directly in writing to the Access to Information coordinator at the ministry that administers AISH, so the Assisted Living and Social Services. I've broken down what you can ask for. A few other things in the comments. AISH does have the medical reports. They cannot make an eligibility decision without them. The medical report form is part of the application. So if a phone agent told you we don't have those, the phone line and the formal record system are not the same thing. The ATI request goes through the coordinator and reaches the actual file. And rough timeline, so public bodies have 30 calendar days to respond.
Okay.
Keep a copy for your of your request. It timestamps the clock, and then I've also created a fillable personal file request form. It's available right now on the Alberta Disability System Breakdown public group.
Okay.
Just made it a little bit easier for everybody.
Sure. Now, can you explain what that means? Like, what is that for? Why would the AISH patient, or sorry, recipient need that?
Why this matters,
Yeah.
information asymmetry. So what they have on you versus what they tell you is one of the structural problems we're documenting. So your file is your evidence. If what you receive contradicts what you've been told, that becomes part of the record. The personal impact statement and formal complaint template in our document library pair with this directly.
Okay. Okay. Um, uh, okay.
I was ready for you. That's
Were you ever? Were you ever? Just give me 2 seconds. Sorry. We're good. Um, there we go. Cool.
But yeah, I'd like to do a shout out to Tammy, just thanking her for bringing this to my attention and making this more accessible to everybody on the page.
Okay. Great. Okay, there we go. Okay, good. So, sorry, so now that I'm fully attentive, so the reason that we would have this or need this specifically is because,
Just so that we know what our file says. So
okay,
if we're given misinformation by somebody at the call center,
yeah,
we have the documents in hand that says, no, you're wrong.
okay, okay. And so would that be a measure? You know, this Renault individual is interesting to me. She seems like an advocate, but am I correct in my assumption?
Yes. Yes,
Okay,
she is the critic for community and social services.
okay. And is that a government position?
Yes.
Oh, it is.
She's the MLA of St. Albert.
Okay. And also holds
I am
that
a constant pain in her side, so
right. And she also holds the that title as well as being the whatever you just said.
yeah, the MLA of St. Albert, yeah,
Yeah, MLA and
the critic
the
for
critic.
community and social services, yeah.
Okay, good. So is she an easy resource to get a hold of?
She can be. I know that her office is one of the best when it comes to if you're having issues with anything to have to do with social services, age, um, your check not coming in and you're not able to get through to the call center or what have you. Her office usually will look into it right away. So
Okay,
they understand what's at stake for people.
yeah, that's cool. What do you think about getting her on the podcast? Do you think she'd be up for that?
Possibly. I know I'm going to be going to her office with my my banner and my cards, and I'm going to be handing stuff out around there at some point. So
Okay.
here's hoping.
Okay, yeah, it might be good to reach out to her. You know, I mean, this is somebody who's directly tied, who obviously uh, is an advocate and probably has a lot of answers internally, whether she shares them or not. Has a lot of internal, you know, understanding of what's going on, what our hopes and chances are, what Calgary's letter and Medicine Hat and Lethbridge and Red Deer and Grand Prairie, what those letters really mean, what their effectiveness is. You know, these kind of questions, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they just finished doing a YouTube live where is it here? Regarding learning to advocate
Okay.
and building momentum. So that went, the second part of that was live April 30th
Okay.
on YouTube. So I know that I've put some links to that in the group as well. So she's trying to get some help for everybody, and she's also a sympathetic voice there against ADAP.
Okay. Yeah. Well, yes, of course. I mean, if she's advocating on behalf of us, she better be. So yeah, maybe we'll reach out to her, huh? And
Yeah,
and let her maybe speak for herself and on behalf of things that we're just not going to have access to, or at least we're not in direct proximity to. You know, um, very cool. I think that's cool. I think that's great. I just want to. I have a. If the person is still in the chat, Republico F Alberta. You put a comment up there when Albertans are no longer forced to send 74 billion east annually. Okay, things will improve for everyone in Alberta. Um, this is great because this is where I wanted to start today, actually, and I might be nicer than yesterday about it. I know Chantal hopes I am. Um,
you are very passionate about the Heritage Fund.
I am very passionate about it because it really has a lot of meaning. Because it's hard, absolute numbers, money. It's all there. You know, like one of the most solid things we have. So to you, Alberto, if that's your real name, um, we have something called the Heritage Fund in Alberta. All right, and I was actually going to start the show with this today, so I'm glad you asked the question. Thank you. Questions are always welcome. We have a Heritage Fund. I don't know if you are aware of the Heritage Fund. Many of us aren't. And I mean, probably anyone, 20 and up seems to not know or be aware of this fact. Alberta has what is called the Heritage Fund, okay? Our Heritage Fund was started in the mid 70s under Peter Lougheed, and that fund was directly tied to the wealth of Albertans specifically. This was not money going to Ottawa. This was the revenue of oil and gas that we retained year by year through the revenue of oil and gas, okay, to be put into a bank account, to have been made deposits on I believe, a quarterly basis. And this was to serve for all infrastructure, or at least most infrastructure, and for programming. Okay, so we had those two things: infrastructure, programming, and all of those things came out of the Heritage Fund. Now, those things did not deplete the Heritage Fund on any given year. They, as a matter of fact, the smallest of percentages of those deposits would pay for these two things, and then Alberta could save the rest of that money come a rainy day. All right? Now, I'm going to contrast that with Norway. Norway started their fund in the mid 90s. They found oil in the mid 60s. We found it around 1950. Okay? They began their program, their so called Heritage Fund, in the mid 90s. Okay? So, for contrast, in terms of how they meted out their responsibility to the public, as opposed to what Alberta did, Norway's Heritage Fund stands today at approximately $1.6 trillion. Alberta's Heritage Fund is 30 billion. Okay? So if you want to know what the difference between 30 billion and 1.6 trillion is, it's about 1.6 trillion dollars, meaning that there is no difference. What they have accrued and what Norway has been responsible for has been the difference between the life and the death of their citizenry. And that's not hyperbole. We in Alberta have not done that, and yet under that system, we would have now been at par with Norway. maybe slightly under, but not enough to ever have made a difference. So I understand what your question is. You think that we're sending money to Ottawa, and that is depleting our resources, and that's not true. Now, I'm not going to say that it doesn't have some bearing. It does have some bearing, but that bearing is immaterial to the amount of wealth Alberta should have accrued, which it didn't accrue because of its own lack of governance, and that is the UCP, the Liberal, and the NDP. No one has monitored that fund or been responsible for it in a way that has accrued the wealth of Canadians. So, do you want to speak to this, Chantal? Because you know me.
It's all good.
Yeah.
So I'm just looking at our document here that is available on the app and our website. Where is it here? I'm just trying to see. So the Heritage Fund, the fund size right now is 31.9 billion. So that's a big number. So and the annual fund yield at 3% is roughly about 957 million. So the capacity to fund AISH, the actual yield is less than the total AISH cost. So them blaming it on what we're sending to Ottawa is a bunch of BS.
Right. Right.
There's no reason to cut that. Total resource revenues from the 1970s to present is 315 plus billion, and it's confirmed.
Okay. So that's what we have accrued, 300 and something odd billion since the 70s. Is that correct?
Yeah, 315
350.
billion.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And yet we only have 30 billion to show for it.
Exactly.
And right. And so if we had
and they're not telling us, like they're not publicly announcing what they're spending that money on, and they have the responsibility of actually doing that because that's supposed to be for Albertans.
Exactly. And so where that money is going, I researched this yesterday, but I knew so much as I could research it, that all seemed as an assumption as to where the money should go in terms of where they say it's going. But that still stands as an assumption as to hard, fast numbers as to where that money actually went. So we don't know, right? We simply don't know where that money went. And that's a problem. The fact that we're at 30 billion now and we have accrued 315 billion means that we have lost about 280 billion, right? You could say we put that into infrastructure or wherever the hell it went. Nobody can define that, but wherever that went. But that's not a net gain. That's a net loss, right? If my math is correct. And yet somehow Norway, in a shorter period of time with more people and less oil, has been able to accrue $1.6 trillion. So I just want to go back to Alberto. Alberto, if you're still on here, and I hope you are, I hope you heard all that. I would like to know how you feel about that. And if you have an argument, I would like you to bring that argument as to how you feel Ottawa is depleting the resources of Alberta. And to be clear, I'm not saying Ottawa isn't doing that. I'm saying that it is a pittance and it is a political talking point of the UCP to
just to strengthen their let's separate argument.
Right, it's a straw man argument, right? They're setting up a straw man on a secondary issue that pales in comparison to the $1.6 trillion. So, sorry, it's not Alberto, it's Republico. No, Republic of. Okay. I read that totally wrong. It's not Republican.
It's all good. The writing's really small in there.
It is, yeah. I'm having a hard time. So, Republic of Alberta, if you could answer that question for me, I would be really glad for you to do that. And I do welcome you to add to your argument. if you just put the comment in there and then, left, if it's just a drive-by, well, that's too bad, because I think I went on to answer your question, as did Chantal. And we want to answer your question. We want to put Alberta's mind at ease. The fact that we actually have our money, it's just missing. And that's true. Our money is not in our hands, therefore it's missing from our hands. So please, Republic of Alberta, I would love you to speak up, and I would love to know your thoughts about what we just said. Um, so I think I could do away with the Heritage Fund for now, unless it comes up again. Um, I think I've made my point clear. That's, that's the way it is. And that's how I think we have been bamboozled right under our noses.
Well, it's all part of the UCP's brainwashing to have everybody kind of go along with whatever it is that they're saying. They're taking an issue that actually is happening here at home with the Heritage Fund, but they don't want to tell anybody about it, because then that makes the public more aware that the receipts aren't there.
100%. I mean, yeah, they're not going to add insult to injury. They're going to hide that insult.
Yeah.
And, Republic.
Let's blame Ottawa.
Well, yeah,
we don't want to be held accountable. Let's blame Ottawa.
well,
and everybody's buying it.
For sure. And Republic of Alberta, if you're here, I just want to state, I'm not saying that the NDP is better. I'm not saying that the Liberals are better. I'm saying they're all bad. And the problem that we have is that we are partisan in terms of our excoriation. So we think that the NDP bad. We think the Liberal bad. We think UCP bad. The truth is, government bad. Not this part of the government, not that part of government, but the government is not working for the people. This understanding and this truth will bring us closer to one another. It will bring us closer to an understanding that all of us, whether we believe liberally or conservatively or whatever the NDP is, something akin to both, because they basically do the bidding of whoever will listen to them. We will be able to, once again, get back that democracy word that politicians on every side of the equation like to talk about. Oh, we're losing our democracy. No, we're not losing our democracy. We've lost our democracy from the very person saying we're losing it. Once we gain that kind of understanding, we can move ahead. Until then, we're gonna keep hating each other for problems that are not of our construction and are not our fault. The bottom line is, I love my brothers and sisters. I love the proletariat, the peasant. And trust me, if you don't think you're a peasant, the government thinks you are. So don't worry about that. These are the people that I love. I don't hate the politician, but I hate the system, because the system is taken away from me. It's taking away from me. It will take away from me and Chantal and 80,000 beautiful Albertans that, number one, don't deserve it, and number two, it doesn't need to happen, because the money's already there. The money for your growth, Republic of Alberta, is right there. And it's been, I don't know the word, but it's been misappropriated. Yeah, squandered, misappropriated since the mid-70s, okay? So, once again, love to hear back from you. Chantal, we were going to finish up some stuff with the illustrious, right?
Yeah, the talking points from yesterday when we had the technology issues.
Right.
Let's see here. Just have to pull everything up. I left it all on desktop to make it really easy for myself. So we were on 5, I think. Yeah, we did the ethics commissioner findings. So the Alberta Health Services recruitment scandal.
Okay.
So This is where it connects to AISH directly, and the key here is to watch the timeline. So 2022, MH Care Medical, the owner Sam Marachi.
Okay. Yep.
I don't know. The name is really weird here. Awarded 70 million contract to import children's pain medication from Turkey. During national shortage, Alberta received approximately 30% of the order, despite paying full price. The medication received was later withdrawn for safety concerns. 2023 to 2024, the same person provided luxury Edmonton Oilers box seats to multiple cabinet members and senior staff in Smith's office. Globe and Mail later reported that the same person was present in Smith's inner circle election night suite in 2023. The government eased ethics rules in 2023, making it easier to accept such gifts under official business.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty shady.
Yep. That's what we
So
call.
she's being paid off.
Well, that's
That's
what
bribery.
that's what we call the donor class. So the
Yeah,
donor class, right? They're going to give to her somewhere somehow. You could assume.
yeah,
And so what do? Well, they send you to the Oilers games. They make you feel really good about yourself, like you're better than the average individual. And because
yeah.
of that, you get nice things. All you have to do is play ball with what wasn't the medication that number one gets recalled, and number two is paid for in full, and only 30% is delivered. So was all of that coming from the same individual? The
Yes,
influences are yeah.
yeah. That's Sam Marachi or whatever the last name is, however it's pronounced. It's an Maraiche as the last name.
Oh, okay. Sounds like mariachi, like those bands in Mexico.
Yeah, could very well be. I'm not sure, and I don't know. I have a thing for brutalizing names.
No, that's okay. So if we break down what you said that Smith signed off or had procured a medicine from Turkey. Am I correct?
It was a medical company that ended up doing that. So they were awarded 70 million contract to import the children's pain medication from Turkey. So, and I'm
Okay.
assuming that it was during a national shortage, so it was something that we needed here in Canada and or Alberta, and we didn't have it.
Okay.
So that's why we
Okay.
were paying top dollar for it. Uh, and then we only received 30% of it.
Right. So there is, if we say 22 million was received, then we lost 23, 50, 52 million, I think.
Yeah,
50,
it
right.
would have been around there. Yeah.
Right. So about we lost 52 million there. Well, once again, congratulations to the smartest people in the world, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, at least they got their money's worth out of luxury Oilers box seats for
Well,
multiple cabinet members, so at least there was something.
right. And yeah, and the kids still seem to suffer some pain and discomfort. So that sounds like a win all the way around, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
for the wrong people.
for all the wrong
So and
people.
then for December 2023, um, there was an appointed CEO of the Alberta Health Services. She launched an internal investigation into Alberta Health Service procurement, specifically into contacts with private surgical facilities and the original care center that got that $70 million contract. Where is it here? So specifically into contracts with private surgical facilities and MH care related companies totaling approximately 614 million. That's a lot of box seats. December 19th, 2023, the same lady, Athana, was briefed the Alberta Health Services Board on her investigation. The board recommended expanding investigation and that she considered taking findings to the RCMP. So she's now the whistleblower for what's going on for Alberta Health Services, and we already know Alberta Health Services is kind of um, falling apart because we don't have enough doctors or medical people right now.
Right.
So where is it here? So January 8th, 2025, she was terminated. So the whistleblower was terminated as Alberta Health Services CEO 2 days before she was scheduled to meet with the Auditor General to discuss her investigation. Well, that's convenient.
Uh-huh. Isn't it though?
If you have nothing to hide, that doesn't exactly happen, right?
Right.
January 31st, 2025, the entire Alberta Health Services Board of Directors, which had recommended taking the findings to the RCMP, was dismissed by the government. Oh, the plot thickens, Gavin.
Right. Ba, ba, ba.
We have nothing to hide, but we're not being transparent, and now we're firing whistleblowers because there is something to find.
Right.
Oh my goodness. Like,
Right.
really? Way to really bring the spotlight back to the actual issue, government.
Mm-hmm. Well, we need a sound. We need a soundboard with a sound that goes dun dun dun.
No, you need your drum set.
I could do it on there. I'd blow the speakers out, but I could do it. God damn it. Um, so what we're looking at here, with what you were telling us, the people, is that basically our government is what, behind a firewall.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Right, and when
they're not held to the same standards as every other citizen.
Right.
If we went to the store and we stole something, like let's say we couldn't afford our prescription medication for our disabilities, and we had to steal it at not necessarily gunpoint, but we had to take it by force because we couldn't afford it, we would go to jail.
Right.
We would be arrested and we would be put in front of, a judge, and we would have to, either prove ourselves not guilty or we would have to plead guilty. The government hasn't been held to that same standard. They are stealing millions of dollars from Albertans and essentially just firing people that try to slap their hands.
Right. Right. Well, they can't fire us.
No.
We basically have fuck you poverty. Which
exactly. What assets?
Yeah. I mean, they say there's fuck you money, but I say there's fuck you poverty. Where it just doesn't matter anymore.
At this point, it's like, you know what? You already are switching us from AISH-to-ADAP. Like that can't be any more of a kick in the ass than, what they're already doing. And then it's, okay, well, what are you going to take from me? You're going to take away my monthly allowance that I have to jump through hoops for? Okay. But at least you can't take away my birthday.
Well, right. I mean, you still have you intact, and they can't. I guess they can try and take whatever they want, your freedom. They can even take your life, but they can't take that force that is in you. They can't take your will away. They could try, but that's a decision.
Oh, absolutely, they could try, but
yeah,
I have nothing to lose.
Well, that's what I'm saying. We have fuck you poverty.
Yeah. And it just keeps on getting worse for all of us.
Well, under AISH-ADAP, and this is really, to get back to first principles here, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about 80,000 lives about to be, I don't want to say disrupted. That's so beneath what this is. Existentially ripped from our hands, so that we all immediately suffer the consequences. And if we don't suffer them fiscally, we're going to suffer them psychologically. We're going to suffer the deprivation of knowledge and of understanding of what we can do. The process is so confusing that I'm surprised anybody's on AISH right now, and that's only going to be made exponentially worse with the new program of ADAP. I mean, who can understand that? Even they can't understand that. So a
lot of them don't know about the switch.
A lot of them don't even know, do they?
No, they don't. Which is kind of, it's really funny because like people in the comment sections on Facebook, if they talk about phoning into the call center because we don't have individual caseworkers anymore. That went with the dinosaurs. Because of the whole ADAP switch, accountability is something that everybody wants to avoid. So they've put everybody into the call center where nobody knows your file, nobody knows your struggle personally. So every time that you phone in, you're rehashing all of the issues that you've been facing on AISH, and they have no idea what's been happening for you, and they're ignorant to it.
Right. So what are you reading there? I'm curious. Where, like,
Oh, nothing. I have my computer open just in case we want to keep on going with the talking points.
okay. Yeah, like I'm seeing we pay taxes like every other Canadian. It is disingenuous. The nets, okay, so wait a minute. We pay taxes like every other Canadian. Bonsoir, mon ami. So we do. Um, but it is disingenuous. Okay. What is it disingenuous? I don't know what it is. You have to define it. Um, the net surplus average is about 20 billion of whose money? Of the Alberta government's money or the national money, the national coffers. And in 2020, Alberta was a net receiver. So I don't really understand what you're saying, but I want to understand what you're saying. Can you clarify? We pay taxes like every other Canadian. What is disingenuous? First question. The net surplus average is about 20 billion. The net surplus average of the national government? Explain that. And in 2020, Alberta was a net receiver for what? Do you understand, Chantal? I don't quite get it.
I think they're mixing a whole bunch of different points.
Okay.
Just trying to think here, because I don't know who he means by we pay taxes like every other Canadian. People on AISH, we do not have a taxable income.
Right.
Our income is tax free. That means that when we go to file our taxes, there is no return on that because it was money that was sent to us by the government. So we're not being taxed on that income because it's not an income.
Right. Right.
So we as AISH recipients, no, we're not paying taxes on that because we're not getting a tax return. That's why the Canadian what is it, the Canadian tax credit doesn't do anything for us.
Right. Because
If
we're
you
not
have an
taxed.
employment income,
Mhm.
then absolutely yes, you would get a return on your taxes, and you would be able to benefit from that tax credit. But for people that are just solely on AISH, we we don't get anything. We don't pay anything. We don't get any returns on that. We don't. There's nothing there. So
Right.
I think it's a case of a lot of assumption and not enough research.
You mean the comment itself?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So yeah. Okay. So yeah. Yeah. Who is we? Right. Um,
Yeah.
because we don't pay taxes. Because we don't pay taxes, we're not entitled to a credit of tax.
Exactly.
Right.
And
So
the Canadian disability benefit that just came out, it's already being clawed back. So we're paying that to our provincial government, not because we have a choice, because we don't have a choice. They're taking that $200 off of our checks, and yes, we still have access to the $200. And I want to explain this so that people can kind of understand this. The $200 is now coming from the federal government, but the $200 is being removed off of our check.
right.
So that benefit actually doesn't account for anything because they're removing it off the check.
Right. Right. And
So
Alberta
we're
is the
still
only
getting the
province.
$200, but they're withholding it from the checks.
And Alberta is the only province to do that, aren't they?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, well, but you would say then that we should be getting 1940 a month and not the 2140. Am I correct?
Yes.
But we're
They're
not.
taking the $200 right off of our checks.
Right, but it seems like me to a lot of people I've talked about, and maybe you know more than I do about this, we've been getting 1740.
I think the 1740 was supposed to be, or wait, no, that makes sense. For the single AISH individual, and I try to come at it from a whole bunch of different areas, because some people, like myself, I have 3 dependents. Some people are just on their own on AISH, and the different amounts for what you would get on AISH vary depending on what your situation is.
Single or
Dependents or
dependents.
whatever. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Good.
So, and depending on the number of dependents, your amount would go up.
Okay.
So, if you are on your own as an AISH recipient, I know that I have that number in breakdown somewhere in the library of documentation. Um, the base number that is posted on the AISH website, according to what you would get, that number there is negative $200 now as of April.
Right. So it's basically the clawback makes you break even. It gives you nothing, of which the government was attempting to give you something a little bit extra, just so
Exactly.
just because you weren't meeting a market basket index, and they wanted to play a little bit fairly. But
Yeah.
our government can't even do that. Our
No.
our provincial government. I mean, think about the kick in the nuts this is. Not only are we getting the $200 ripped out of our cold dead hands, but they've also, the only province to do, as far as I know, this transition at the same time from AISH to ADAP.
Yeah.
Right. So,
Well, how they've staggered it though, right? Because the Canadian Disability Benefit hits your account. What is it? The second Thursday of the month.
mhm.
I'm going off the top of my head because I would have to take time to go through the library. So, and I think it's the second Thursday of every month. The Canadian Disability Benefit $200 amount, or whatever it was that you were assessed to receive by the federal government. Okay,
Okay.
that comes off of your, or that goes into your account, separate from AISH. It's a completely different deposit. Now, at the end of the month, when AISH checks come out, that $200 is already off of your check.
Okay.
So
Oh,
you got it earlier in the month as the Canadian Disability Benefit, right? So we're still receiving that as a benefit, but they're taking the amount of it off of our checks.
at the very beginning of the month.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
So,
we're getting it at the beginning of the month, or first or second Thursday, and then at the end of the month when everybody's used to being paid,
yeah.
right? That's our survival window, is the end of the month. That's when we count on all of our money being in the account.
Right.
That's when our check is $200 short, or however much it was that we were assessed to get from the CDB, right? It's
Yeah.
already been removed from our AISH check, and that's most people's lifelines.
Okay, so but what you are so a 1940 would get 1740, and a 1740 at the beginning of the month would get 1540. Is that correct?
Yes.
And then you're saying the second Thursday, as far as you know, you would get that $200.
Yes, or whatever amount it is that you originally were assessed to receive. So some people said they're getting $97. Other people said they're getting $150. It's varying per person. Like, it's not $200 across the board. And I don't know what kind of extenuating circumstances they're taking into account when they're assessing how much people should be getting for this disability benefit. So that question I can't answer.
Right, but okay. So let me ask you this: isn't that $200 in every other province just $200?
Yeah, it would be extra on top of whatever they're getting from their provincial benefit
But it's
for, let's
200.
say, their AISH. Yeah,
But it's $200 for everybody. It's
I'm
not.
not
You're not
sure if
sure?
it would
Okay.
be different,
Okay. Hmm.
just because they haven't posted any kind of criteria as to how they come up with the amount that you're assessed for.
Well, if they're taking $200 off you, then you would think that you would receive it
Well,
200.
you would think, but that's the other end of the sword here.
Hmm.
When I got the email back from um, Jason Nixon earlier this week, last week, I
Yeah.
can't remember. Everything's a blur. He stated in his email that as of April, everybody is losing $200 regardless of if you were accepted or approved, or that you're actually getting $200. And they're putting the responsibility on the recipient themselves to follow or to forward whatever letter you receive from that, like the federal government saying how much you've been assessed for, they're putting that on us.
It's so fucking exhausting.
Oh, it is. And a lot of people don't understand that because all of our AISH pay stubs are all bureaucratic shorthand. It doesn't take into account the person that has cognitive delays. It doesn't, like, it's just ridiculous.
It would be exhausting for the average individual tax-paying member of society.
Oh, absolutely.
How the fuck can somebody that's any less than that cognitively ever have the energy to deal with it or the understanding to deal with it? They can't.
Well, that, and they've made it so that we don't have community support offices anymore because they've all been defunded.
Exactly.
Or most of them have been defunded. So it's like, where do you go?
Right.
You don't have a caseworker that you can contact that knows your file, that knows what your disabilities are, and that can approach the information in a assertive way where you can acknowledge and understand what's being told to you. It's just, oh, well, you should know.
Right. Yeah. Right. Well,
which is part of my asymmetry report that I've been working on.
Right.
It hasn't come out yet.
Well, keep doing it. Yeah, and so when we say they're dumb, they're dumb, but they're dumb in a certain way. What I mean is that they're what would you call it? Their anesthetization is their humanity. So they've been anesthetized, it seems to me, against humanity. That's their dullness. And that is plain on their faces when you look at them, or you stand in a room with them, or you sit across a table from them. You see that anesthetization. You see the numbness to humanity. You don't see humanity in them. Where they're smart, if I can say this, assumedly, is in the nefarious construction of a thing. So everything comes in stages, such as take away your community support worker, set everybody up so that they get comfortable not being able to talk to anybody, then institute something that the only way that they can mitigate that is to talk to the people that we just took away from the system.
Yeah.
So, and then at the same time that you've taken this money away and you've made it so difficult to understand one fucking thing about it, then they introduce AISH-to-ADAP, so now you forget about the $200 ostensibly and you only fear for your life.
Yeah.
What
exactly.
what a genius evil plan that is.
But if you look at all of the changes that they're making to our support networks, to the AISH-to-ADAP, or with the AISH-to-ADAP switch, the fact that we went from individual caseworkers per caseload to a call center where nobody is able to be held accountable, and they'll hang up on you. You told me about that yesterday. That's hilarious.
Yep.
It's not a matter of oversight. It's actual policy. They're purposely making it impossible to navigate the system for everyone.
Right. Right. And then you get glib, anywhere from glib to uncaring people on the other side of the line that are so inundated with calls anyway, which is their scapegoat, their easy out. Oh, well, we have too many calls, I can't talk to you anymore. And they don't answer a fucking question.
Yeah.
They offer no
Or I'll have
help.
to take that down and I'll have to ask my supervisor.
Right. And
like, did we not train people anymore?
Well, no, because it's inherent in the structure of the system, right? The breakdown is a feature. It's not a problem to solve. It's a feature of the system. The breakdown is part of it, right? Take 6 weeks to get back to you.
Yeah.
Right. Be glib on
and
the
in
phone.
That 6 weeks, what happens to the individual? Like in the comments here, this is the second day that I've seen it, that somebody's blood test strips for diabetes aren't being covered. They keep on taking things off of what's covered and what isn't covered under our Blue Cross. And
right.
that in itself should be a punishable offense, because these are people that can't afford these costs out of pocket. And these are life-saving measures that they have to go through.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, it's you don't poke your fingers and use test strips and have diabetes for the hell of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not a subscription you pay for every month.
Right. Yeah, I know that even happened a few years ago with some musicians here in town, that unfortunately both of them died within a month of each other, and really at their own, demise in character and being able to, help themselves. but they had been being denied, and their father had been being denied medications that were previously covered, and things like that. And I think they just reached their end. And I don't know how either of them died, but they died within a month of each other. And of course, they had their issues, no doubt about it. But you know, once again, when you're on that cliff, when you're on that, when you have that level of precarity, it becomes very easy to just realize that there is nothing left. And we've all been there, and
Oh yeah, we've all had different levels of disparity at this point, and it's just getting worse.
we all empathize
Yeah.
with those going
Nobody
through
is
that.
alone in this fight. Nobody's alone with their feelings. Everybody, what you're feeling regarding the AISH-to-ADAP switch, the confusion that's been purposely built into policy. We're here. We're there with you, and we're trying to make it easier to navigate. We're trying to get the word out, the education out there, the resources out there. Everything that I can do on my end, I'm doing. And
Right.
there's no paywall. There's no need to join the Facebook group. Everything is available for whoever needs it.
Right. And what is that Facebook page?
That is the Alberta Disability System Breakdown.
Okay, fantastic. You know, and here's the thing. I mean, if you feel like you're the crazy one, then they've got you exactly right where they want you, because you're not crazy. The system is crazy. The system is the narcissist. The system is the primogenitor of your inability to make sense of anything. It is coming from that source. It's coming from inside the house. All right. It's not coming from you. They want you to feel crazy. They want you to think that this is your fault for not understanding, but it's all understandable anyway. Not understandable. You can't understand this, and that is by design. I
Yeah.
I have to believe that it's by design, because nobody can be this stupid. Nobody can be this inept except your government. And they're inept for a reason. It's like, you know, it's like your gaslighting friend, right? That just keeps fucking up, but somehow you feel like it's your fault. Oh, well, you know, I
Yeah.
wasn't here at 2:30 because, you know, are you sure you had your phone on? And all of a sudden you start questioning yourself, like, fuck, did I have my phone on? No, wait a minute. None of this is my fault. I'm not crazy. My friend's the nuts, and I need to, you know, bolt from the nuts. So, you know, this is where we're standing with everyone watching this podcast, is in the fact that we feel the same way you do. We can't understand this, but that's because you're not supposed to understand it, okay? Because it makes no sense. And this is why we have to collectivize and say, like Twisted Sister did in 1980, we're not going to take it. No, we ain't going to take it. We're not going to take it anymore. All right? We're with you. We are 100% with you. We want you to chime in the chat. We want you to ask the tough questions. We want you to be angry or solemn or morose. Whatever your feelings are, they're valuable to us. And we will hold those. And we will not, there is no judgment in this room. We want you to feel not only safe in here, but heard. And you can't say anything wrong. Don't make anything personal, because if you say that I smoke too much or something, or
Monkey business.
all right, or I'm ugly, well, yeah, you know, I can't help it. You have to bring that up with God. Um, but you can say anything you want about anything you want. And you also need to realize that the fault is not your brother and sister, it's the system. The system is driving you crazy because the system is the narcissist. You see? And therefore it takes a narcissist to operate within it. Right? So you're not crazy. I mean, maybe we all are, but I mean, everybody's on the spectrum of something. Let's not get that wrong, right? Everybody is.
Yeah.
So, uh, so don't celebritize what should actually get your mercy. Okay, what you should actually have compassion for. These people are broken people in government. They're not the smartest people in the world. Their humanity is on a thin string if they possess any at all. So we could make the argument that the proletariat, the peasant minded, are actually the brightest among us. So I want you to know that. Chantal, if you want to do something else.
Just to continue on there,
Yep.
regarding the Alberta Health Services procurement scandal, um, the match that I'm hoping that people can see here is with the 70 million contract, right, and the fact that there was 30% of the order that what is it that was received, right? That meant that there was an outstanding 49 million, okay, that wasn't accounted for. Where is it here? So the Alberta Health Services scandal involves hundreds of millions of dollars in health procurement contracts directed to companies with accounted ties to government insiders. In the same period, the same government cut AISH by 49 million over 3 years, clawed back 190 million per year in federal Canadian disability benefit funding. They cut homelessness funding by 4 million and cut disability advocacy organizations, including Voices of Albertans with Disabilities, and raised community housing rent by 63% for the most vulnerable recipients.
Okay, wait a minute. You got to go back. There's too much. There's way too much there. There's no way for
So the 49 million that
Mhm.
they still haven't accounted for all of that money that was lost because of the big deal there for children's pain medication,
Yeah.
they cut that from AISH recipients
So the money that they squandered
and lost, yeah, we're
and
paying for.
we lost, then they cut us
Yep.
to pay back that.
Yep.
Holy shit. Okay, wait, don't say just if there's anybody in this room right now, I just want you to pause and think about that. The government spent $70 million on a pain medication that only 30% was delivered, leaving about 53 million unaccounted for. And so to make up that, it seems to me, if I've got this right, and I could have it wrong, and I will admit, I'll state that, but it seems to me that the 53 million that they lost out of their own ineptitude, let's say, they cut AISH by 49 million.
Yep. Over 3 years.
Over 3 years to pay for their ineptitude. Now, just let that sink in. I don't know what the equivalent to that is. Like if you were to make a comparison to something in your life, I don't even know how to make that comparison because if you did that much damage to a single individual, you'd basically just get the shit kicked out of you. Like,
Yep.
you know what I mean? Like you either wouldn't have a friend or you'd have a black eye and you would be ostracized from general society trying to make that claim because you would make people crazy by what you're trying to get them to accept. The illogic of that argument. People would immediately ascertain what you were saying, and therefore you would be ostracized from that society or that group of individuals. And yet, stunningly enough, we don't do that with government. So we have to look at ourselves here. We have to ask ourselves a tough question. If we wouldn't allow that in our life by a single individual, why do we allow the government to do the exact same thing? Is it because they do it slowly, methodically?
Because of the misdirection.
And the misdirection?
The misdirection. So what they've done essentially, and of course I'm really good at following patterns, right?
Yep.
They got rid of the whistleblower before it hit the RCMP, hoping to save themselves because, you know, having overpriced box seats at an Oilers game is super important. The exact amount from the Alberta Health Services scandal, so the full cost, the 49 million, matches exactly the AISH cut, and nobody has put that out in the media.
Wow. Well, we got to
So they're just calling it a Alberta Health Services scandal, and they're pointing fingers at the whistleblower who was trying to bring all of that to light, when in actuality both numbers match what's being cut from AISH.
And what happened to the whistleblower?
I'm not 100% sure. I know that she was terminated from her position. Let's see here. And there, as of March 2025, the RCMP confirmed that there's an active investigation. Um, and they executed multiple search warrants. And then March of this year, RCMP searched the MH Cares Edmonton offices.
Oh, I
But
saw that.
there's been nothing else. Yeah, that was it.
Right, but that was on the news. I did see that.
Yeah. When I saw the number of it, and I kind of started connecting dots, because of course I'm always elbows deep in some document that I'm working on.
Yeah.
It just started to kind of click, and it was like, oh, okay, I don't like this. I don't like this.
Right.
Find more information, connect more dots, and I couldn't believe that. So it makes sense. They're trying to cover their butts by taking the shortfall money out of AISH and destroying all of our all of our everything when it comes to organizations and community services and advocacy groups, because they don't want us fighting back. Our voices don't matter, right, to them.
Right.
But it's my biggest rebuttal there is, if the community of this, like, if the disabled community doesn't matter to people in Alberta, then why are we fundamentally blocked from being able to leave Alberta? If we're that much of a problem,
Right.
find out from each person, what province would you rather live in, and help us to get over to a different province. If we're that much of a burden,
Right. Right.
then what's with the structural cage then?
Right. But we already know we're not a burden. We know our government is a burden.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, everything, who it's so much, right? Like, okay, so I wanted to say this to the people watching, and that is that one of the reasons I think that the government doesn't care is because, I mean, educate yourselves a little bit just on that's what this show is all about. It's all about educating you to give you the weapons and the tools that you need, the Socratic intellectual tools and knowledge that you need to be a burden in the best possible way to your government, to make yourself a millstone tied around their neck, that they go to bed sleeping, go to bed at night dreaming of you in their sleep, or maybe a nightmare.
Well, it would be a nightmare. It would be a nightmare.
Right.
Most definitely.
Right. But we can't do that by whining. Okay. Whining is easily dismissed. Of course, we're upset. But, you know, I stubbed my toe on the side of the bed today, and nobody cared that I screamed and yelled for 5 minutes. I am kind of a baby when it comes to pain. But nobody cares about that. Nobody really cares about your feelings except the people in this space. The government certainly doesn't care about how you feel. So what does the government care about? They care about you being a millstone around their neck. I can tell you that. They are afraid of you in that regard. Okay? They don't want you to know that you have information that could put them in jeopardy. They love them a little job. They love them a little bit of money. And they love it at your expense. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
At least it seems that way to me. Correct me, some politician, if I'm wrong. That's how it seems to me. So what this show really wants to do is give you the information you need to become to put on the
Their worst nightmare.
right, put on the breastplate of righteousness and arm yourselves with the sword of knowledge and wisdom. And this is the way you take on your government. Now, I say all these things colloquially. I do not mean them. Don't go out and buy a breastplate or a sword, okay? You know what I'm saying. But I have to iterate that for the sake of the channel. What I'm saying is be informed and then get out there. I mean, my God, look, so 49 million is the same amount of money that they took from us to pay that 49 million. The numbers line up. And even if we're not correct in that, that's enough of an assumption to go on, to do something about. So why don't you, in the audience out there, why don't you call your local news station and say, I got a little bit of information that you may need, and I don't see it on your channel. I don't see you talking about it. And you're there to serve the public interest. So let's get together and let me give you some information that is going to help the citizenry. This is your job. This is something you can do. I'll definitely be getting a hold of the media on this, or at least adding this to the giant picture, right? Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Do you have any more to that?
On this one?
Yeah.
I'm sure I do.
Yeah, yeah.
Where is it here? So, financial reality. It was another one of the documents that I ended up building that is available as well in the library there, on the app and at the Facebook group. So, where is it here? The comparison that matters. Okay, so the Heritage Fund growth in one quarter was 383 million. The total AISH budget cut over 3 years is 77 million.
Okay.
The fund grew 5 times the original 3-year AISH cut in a single 3-month period.
Okay. Could you just go back and reiterate that?
So, the government saying that they fiscally necessity dictates that they have to cut AISH.
Okay, so they got a net gain of 300 million. They produced a net gain of 300 million, and then they cut AISH by
77 million.
By 77 million. So that's a curiosity, isn't it?
So, but what is it here? So the Heritage Fund growth in one quarter. So that's in 3 months. 3 months is one quarter. Okay.
Yep.
They got 383 million. Okay. Total AISH budget cut over 3 years is 77 million. But yet they're saying that they have to cut all of this because it's fiscally necessary.
When they've accrued.
Which is absolutely baloney.
Right. When they've accrued 300 million in a quarter. And so they have extra money they never had, and somehow they have less money than the money they gained never having had it before. Right. So, yeah, that's a little crazy, isn't it? Like, so that math doesn't work. Simple and effective. Go on, please. Please.
Just 2 seconds. My littles just got home.
Oh, that's okay. You go ahead. I'll no, you tell me when you can come back in. I'll take the reins for a minute.
Okay, awesome. I'll be right back.
Yeah, go ahead. So I hope y'all are getting this in the chat. What this means, the sort of absolute craziness of a fact that the government in one quarter of a year can have made $383 million off of oil and gas, and then say we have to cut over 3 years, we have to cut AISH by 77 million, when for the first time in a long time they've actually accrued money instead of lost it, of which there should be never any net loss anyway, because oil and gas flows every day in Alberta. Okay? So what we're looking at here is the government making money, saying they're losing money, and then making you pay for it. Well, now, that's interesting, isn't it? Does anybody in the chat want to explain that? How, it's like I make more money in my household and I want to pay my son maybe $5 more for chores that he does. I would basically be lying to him if I cut his allowance and told him that I couldn't do it because I'm losing money. Well, no, I haven't lost money. I just made $300 million and then I cut his allowance. Can anybody make sense of that to me? I would love to hear from somebody in the chat. Chantal has just gone for a minute. She'll be back. I'm curious if anybody in the chat wants to make sense of something that you can't make sense of. Go ahead. I'll wait until somebody chimes in. Pam, what do you think? Crazy or not crazy? Nuts or not nuts? I'm very curious about what we think. You people in the chat, too, you need to understand that you are the smartest people in the room. You're not the dumbest people in the room. You are the smartest people in the room. You have something to say. Right. So that's just it, right, Pam? Like if I made $300 million a year and then my son had an allowance and I went to him and I said, well, I have to cut your allowance because I don't have enough money to do it, yet I've just made more money than I've ever made in my life. I would be lying to my son. And if my son found out about that, he would be really pissed off at me. And my whole premise would collapse. So why are we not collapsing the premise of the government? It's right there. They have lied as a father would lie to a child. So what are we, children? Is that what we are? I'm curious. If anybody wants to answer that, I would be very curious. It seems to me like they infantilize us, this group of individuals, right? That we don't know what the hell we're talking about. That we're not as smart as them. But I'll tell you what, when I sit in a room with politicians, and I can say this unequivocally, I have not yet stepped into a politician's room, of which I've been in many, and ever ascertained any level of intellectual understanding any politician, and for that matter, really, any academic really holds. They have some information, but the last academics I talked to didn't have half the information I had. You see? And these are the smart people. I had more information than the academics. There were things that I knew that they were just silent on, and I think embarrassed about. So they tried to double down on the knowledge they had. Oh, well, right? Just to self-aggrandize. Well, these are not smart people. Yes, Pam, like the MLA, right? Like our counselor that you and I went to. Not the brightest bulb on the tree. This guy actually had to ask me questions about some of the words I was using. He didn't even understand the definition of some of the words I used. Pam understood it. The guy that we were with understood it. And this MLA is, what does that word mean? I forget the word right now. Anathema. The word anathema, which just means against. You're against it, right? It's anathema to you, right? You don't believe it. It's against what you believe. He didn't even know that. So please, we need to stop thinking ourselves not the smartest people and realize that we are the smartest people. We have the highest understanding of humanity. I can tell you that. We know from a grassroots level just how much we understand one another as a species. You're not going to get that from your government official. He's lost the ability to think that way. He's lost the ability to think that way. He has too much self-interest. There's too much money for him at stake. Right? We have nothing to lose. Basically, we have fuck you poverty. Doesn't matter to us anymore. We can say whatever we want. I would say you want to know what you're talking about, that you want that information to be true and to have veracity. But outside of that, you can say whatever you want. And you should be listened to. And if you say it strong enough, if you say it with some je ne sais quoi, some form of confidence in your ability to know, you are going to wreck everybody you step into a room with. They're not going to be able to stand in your presence. Of course, they'll try to gaslight you. They'll try to make you feel small. But all you have to do is hit them with one more piece of information, and all of a sudden they sink again. And you can literally see it in real time. It's quite stunning to observe it, right? If you just observe, you can see these people. Oh well, well, yeah, but what about this? Boom, you give them that, and boom, they drop. Well, and then they have to pivot. They have to go on to something else. So, really, this is valuable information for you. Stand up, be strong. You are smart. You know, grab the sword of knowledge and the breastplate of wisdom, as our good book says, and use that, right? Like, really use that in your life. I never understood it when I went to church, what that meant, the breastplate of righteousness and the, right. Yeah, I mean, it meant nothing to me. But now I get it. Now that I'm not so close to that ideology, that dogma, now I get it more. Oh, yeah. I see what happens when you wield the sword of knowledge in a room of idiots. I see what happens. So maybe that's what that thing was talking about, right? Can I get an amen from anybody? Does anybody
Amen.
want? Hey, thank you. Anybody else? Can I get an amen? Uh, and I say that colloquially, not in the religious sense. Um, I really want us to start believing in the greatness of us. Thank you, Pam. Amen. I really want us to start believing in the amazing, just in the gifted amazingness of us. The bottom line is we don't believe enough in who we are. We don't believe that we are worth enough, that we are worthy enough. It's funny. I had a guy, and stick with me on this. It's an interesting story. I had a guy today on Facebook. I posted to something else about this guy's benignity and ignorance, and some guy went in there today and said to me, he said, "Oh, it seems to me like you're just coming from a place of ego, and you use big words because you're egotistical, and you must be a teacher," he said. You must be a teacher. Well, no, I'm a fucking musician. I'm a drummer, for God's sakes. Do you think I'm that smart? I'm not an academic, which is what teacher means. This guy just didn't know the word academic. Okay, fine. I haven't emailed him back yet or whatever, messaged him back, but I'm going to message him back. And I'm going to say, here's the problem we have in society. We castigate those who have knowledge and can speak well because we are insecure and don't hold that ability within us. And so we have to put down what now is smart. I could tell you that even 50 years ago, people didn't do that. Nobody put down the smart guy. They went, oh my God, I don't want to stand in the room with that guy. That guy knows too much. Nowadays, ignorance is somehow a strength. And this guy thinks he's got a point. Like my ignorance trumps, sorry for that term, my ignorance trumps your genius. When in history has that ever been true? Except never. The way I speak or the things I do, the way I play my instrument is not out of ego. It's because I'm expressing who I am. And if who I am intimidates you, I can't help you. You see what I mean? If that intimidates you, and it obviously intimidated this guy, I can't help you. That's what a psychiatrist is for. You need some Jungian analysis done on you. You need to understand yourself better and what you might be missing in your own life. So that's not a castigation to anybody in this chat. It is a,
It's something that everybody's seeing.
right.
Deflection, not necessarily incompetence. It's the research is there for all of these topics. It's a matter of accessibility,
Right.
which is
Right.
how I'm trying to bridge that gap. The government specifically puts all of this information out there on public forums, on their websites. Some of it's touched in the media, but people don't know how to digest that information in whatever capacity it is that they need in order to be able to access it meaningfully. which is why my work on the app and on the page, everything is accessible. There's plain language documents. There's going to be an addition to the app here. Hopefully, I'm aiming for another week. There's only so many hours in the day, but every document that is available in the app library and on the Facebook group is all going to be accessible to people that either have literacy issues, have issues with digesting visual information, so maybe not being able to read it or understand it properly. It's all going to be on MP3. So you'll be able to download them individually, listen to them while you're cooking. Maybe you've got some downtime. Maybe you need a voice to fall asleep to, but everything will be there. It'll be accessible.
Well, it's your voice. So,
Yeah.
right. Not that anybody should fall asleep to it. I'm just saying it's a very soothing voice. So that's beautiful. And so where can people access this information?
It's all on the app.
Okay.
And you
okay.
have it in the comments or in the description of the video.
How to get the app.
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. So there you go, people.
And it's available on desktop too. So if you go into your browser and you put the same information in, it'll come up to the app. So it's the website as well.
Okay, fantastic. I'm going to read a comment here. Let me see. I hope we don't get loose. We don't lose any more. That's right, brother. Stand your ground. Yeah, well, I mean, I think, Pam, you know the saying, right, that I use a lot. I don't fight fascists because I'll win. I fight them because they're fascists. And I'm not saying that our government is fascist, although if it quacks like a duck and looks like a duck. But what that means is that I'm not fighting to win, because that expectation, I cannot, what can I do about that? I can't ensure success. That's not mine to ensure. But I have to fight because, as far as I'm concerned, nobody has the right to do this to me. And that if they don't have the right to do it to me, then they may not have the right to do it to somebody else that's just like me. And if that extends to 80,000 people, then I guess I want my voice to extend that far. You see? But I don't know that I'll win. If I expect that I'll win and I lose, well, that would be the worst day of my life. That is what leads us to existential, nihilism, right? I don't want to be that. But I will fight because I know it's the right thing for me to do. I know it may be the right thing for my neighbor to do, and ultimately it may be the right thing for me to do on behalf of 80,000 people. And Pam, that's what you're doing. You're in the chat right now. You are the moderator. It was pretty easy actually to do it. You are moderating for success. All right, that's what you're doing. You are part of this, and you should be lofted. The key to a city should be hung around your neck for everything that everybody's doing. You know what I mean? I mean, we give
everybody is a part of this fight. Everybody, even if you don't have a voice that you want to put, like with the campaign itself, your voice still matters. So even if you DM us on Facebook, you email the campaign through the app, we're here to listen, and we're here to help you to be able to navigate the system that's against us.
That's right.
In every way that we can.
And if you think that when I said keys to the city, I really mean that. We are the keys to the city. We are the city. We are the people of the city. The government isn't. The government is there on our behalf. Can we win? Well, sure we can. Are we? I don't know. It's not my question to answer. And I don't think it's anybody.
We're already seeing people picking up the mantle in more government locations. So like the mayors, the Camrose, Grand Prairie, Lethbridge, all of that. People are actually coming to bat for the 80,000 of us that are about to get shoved onto ADAP, and they're all demanding that it be paused or looked into better.
Right. At least pause so that we can,
So we're not alone. We're not alone in this fight. There are people that are sympathizing with the community, which is huge. Mm-hmm. So it's not just the individual. It's you can add your voice to the mass and say, hey, no, I don't agree with what's happening, because there are people that are listening.
Right. Right. And to that extent, excuse me, I just want to put out there that we here in Calgary are going to be down at City Hall Tuesday between 11:30 and noon, uh, starting time, probably for an extra 2 hours after that starting time. We are going to be downtown at City Hall along with MMIW, the murdered and missing Indigenous women. Are also doing a protest there, so we're going to be very respectful of them, and we're going to make all room and space for them. They're going to do the same for us because they're all beautiful people. And so we're going to be doing that on Tuesday and Wednesday of this week. Okay, just so you know. Um,
There's an Indigenous report series available as well, where I tied them in to the fight for everybody else. The other thing that I want to point out is the retirement community, the people that are on CPP or what is it, the retirement thing from the government or the federal government and the provincial government.
yep.
We're all in this at like in the same capacity. It might be starting with AISH, but it didn't start with AISH. It started with the Indigenous, and now it's going to AISH, and then the seniors are going to be next. So
Right.
we're all in this together. So it's not just 80,000. There's a bigger number of people that are going to be implicated by what the government is now doing.
Right. And Chantal makes a great point because I used to believe that the government wasn't trying to kill you; they just didn't care if you were dead. But now I truly believe they're trying to kill us. I really think they want us gone. And I think you can make that assumption, and maybe whether you can prove it or not in its entirety is somewhat immaterial. The fact that they are taking away your livelihood, which will or could very easily actually lead you to a level of precarity that is existential, becomes a huge consideration, of course, for your life. And that is leading you to that state. We need to fight this. I don't know about you in the chat. I think I could say this for Chantal and probably Pam, but if you choose to do that to somebody, maybe you can, but you can't do it to me. You know what I mean? I won't allow you to do it to me because I believe too much in the fact that we are two the same, that the person making the decision of my death is no better than I am. And if I deserve that, then I guess they do too. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and because I understand
This
that,
just all touches on the compound failure report that's also available because I've connected all these dots for people.
uh,
So the documents are there. The work has been done. It's just a matter of accessing it and joining the fight.
right. And that's what we're trying to do here, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. We want you to join the fight. I need to take like 2 minutes. Can you hold the fort, Chantal?
Sure.
Okay, cool. Just give me 2 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. And I will be back.
I'll head back to the computer and see what I can get into. Just give me a second. Oh, right. So just to kind of touch on some of the things that we have available on the app and on the Facebook group. There's the original report series that covers, where is it here? The Do You Know Your Minister Nixon? Do You Know Your Premier Smith? The Financial Reality Report, Health Benefits Erosion, the Alberta Housing Crisis, Payment Instability, the Access Barrier Report, Caseworker Appeal Rights and Human Rights, the Appeal to Overturn, Charter Mobility Rights, Employment Reality, 3 years and counting for FSCD, PDD, and that's the Crisis Report, Intergenerational Family Report, where is it here? The Intergenerational Contradiction Report, the Taxpayer and Heritage Fund Report is also there. Follow the Money. plot thickens, human cost, prior findings, and that's about how they're able to take our AISH prior findings and just basically shove them through the shredder. The assured statement contradiction there, because assured as part of the assured income for the severely handicapped is an oxymoron. That our income is not assured. It can be withheld. It can be questioned. It's not assured. Employment reality, the government premises failure, employment assumption, who are the workshops for? So that's in terms of ADAP. The workshop question, government case, the government's case against itself. So that's quite a extensive report there. And then there's an addendum for the FSCD PDD closures. The government job postings. So what the government is posting in terms of people that they're looking for to run ADAP. And I think that's important for everybody. Then there's the coalition and the UN CRPD report. There's a campaign and action kit as to what I'm following here on my end. A media pitch sheet, which anybody can use to shed light on what's going on. And then there's just the practical action guide as to what you can do to protect yourself and AISH and your AISH.
Okay, and that's all under what?
That's all under our original report series.
Okay, and people can find that
on the app and on the Facebook group page.
Okay.
Under files, everything is there.
Okay, and the name of the Facebook page is?
The Alberta Disability System Breakdown.
Okay, fantastic. And so, sorry, I was gone for a split second. What were you discussing just kind of as an overview?
I was just going through the list of what reports are under just that main series.
Okay. Okay, that includes what? Sorry.
Oh, it's just like I took just the titles of the reports that are all under that particular series.
Oh, okay.
As to like where we're starting with documentation, and it just expands from there. So there's the compound failure document series. There's the constitution gap, the indigenous disability section, information asymmetry report.
Yep.
Then we've got the legalese files that are a little bit denser to read. The plain language library is there too. So a lot of like the main report series, there is a plain language version that makes it easier to explain to someone else, or if you're sitting with people that are like, hey, I have questions about what's going on here, it's all broken down so that people can share it a little bit easier. And then there's the systematic exclusion section. Okay. So it's an ever-growing library at this point.
Okay, great. Yeah, well, you see, ladies and gentlemen, just how much research has been done, how much Chantal has done, is staggering. I mean, just when she speaks about everything that she's compiled, I get tired and lazy. It's so much that she's done, so much work, and it's there for us, right? So we can take this, we can send it to our MLA, to our counselor, to all of these people. I mean, think about it. We're in a fight right now, ladies and gentlemen, and we have 2 months left, right?
Yeah.
To either win, lose, or draw, okay? And of course, we want to win, but the win is going to be dependent on us, because there aren't enough politicians out there willing to do the real hard work of ensuring that this never happens. Yeah. They're doing what they say they can, and it doesn't seem like much to me in many circles. The feeling is good of the fact that we've gotten through to some towns, some major cities, and that they are working on our behalf. But what that looks like, none of us know. If it's enough, we don't know. All we know is that we have each other, and it's going to come down to us kicking the shit out of a system in order to bring that system in line with our wants, desires, and needs. And that is what democracy is. That is what we live under. This is the law that protects us And this is what what is slipping through our fingers at the moment, like oil through the hands. You see what I mean? And we can't allow that. The middle class might allow it, and they might bitch about Donald Trump or praise him, but you think they're getting anything done around their own city? No, they're not, right? They're driving whatever half-ass car they own and whatever house that they almost can't afford, and they're scared shitless too, but not enough to move. We move. That's what we do. And what a dynamic it is that the ones that society considers the least of these actually become the motivators of an entire society. We can do that work. Will we succeed? I don't know, but I don't care. I only care that it's too exciting to be a part of that.
Yeah.
That is so exciting to me. You know, I'm sitting here watching myself without any teeth, but I actually saw a picture.
You're not alone.
But I actually saw a video of Johnny Depp today, and I felt really good about myself. I mean, holy shit, that guy looks bad. Oh my God! Like it is not the Johnny Depp of the you know, in 80s and 90s. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
He looks terrible. So yeah, I guess he doesn't have to worry about AISH or ADAP though. You know, he's got what he's got, and good for him. And you know what? Uh, Personally, I think Johnny Depp has too much and we have too little. I think that we deserve our right to space on this planet and the respect of having enough to survive. That's
Yeah.
it. That's the way the world, I think, wanted it to be. Because I'll tell you what, when we went from Neanderthal to Homo sapien, we didn't work individually. We worked collectively to survive as a species. And when it changes, you see what's happening to us today, right? We've changed that dynamic, and that has worsened us as a species. We need to get back to collective nature. You know, the fact that I can yell into a screen and people don't get offended. People say, that's right, God damn it. We need to get up. We need to rise up. We need to do something. We need to love one another again, right? We need to take our power back because the government who was responsible for that has ended up taking it from us. Yeah. Is there anything else that you have?
Just in regards to the library and our fillable PDF files there, if anybody seems to, or if anybody feels like they're lost or it's just, it's too much, feel free to email the group itself. That's the, where is it here? I'll shout out the email address for everybody. So it's Alberta Disability Breakdown at outlook.com. Or you can message on Facebook and I will give you a hand either strengthening your points, like your argument when it comes to the personal impact statement, any kind of complaints that you guys want to file. The documents are all there to support and back your individual argument. And it's just a matter of doing your initial argument and then having supporting documents going with you that makes it harder to ignore you.
Okay, fantastic. And all of these resources are available. I would say, Chantal, probably a lot of the research, because you've done such great work, a lot of it can be copied and pasted and sent, right?
Yeah.
And
you can copy, paste, you can add the entire PDF because they're downloadable, they're shareable right from the app. I'm not sure if you can, like, I know that you can download them from Facebook, so you would have to download and then email on your own. But everything I tried to make as accessible as possible.
Okay.
For everybody.
Right. So you don't even have to copy and paste. You can just share the PDF.
Yeah.
And Bob's your uncle.
Our fillable files are specifically designed that you open them in your computer and you can fill out using keyboard all of the information that you need. And
wow.
I made it so that all of the email addresses for everybody in Alberta, government-wise, is all listed there. So you don't have to do any external research on your own. All of the communication framework is there for you. So you can copy and paste right from the PDF into your email as the to email address, and you're going.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing work. Ladies and gentlemen, it's all there for you. I mean, this is how much I know this one lady loves and cares for her community so much. Um, I hate to use the word community because we don't have community at the moment, but we still are a community in some sense. And this is what she's done. Even with our disconnectedness, there is so much love in this woman and compassion for the people that she doesn't even know exist, but she knows are out there, right? Shouldn't know you by
Well,
name.
because I'm one of them, right? I am an AISH recipient, and I am a parent to neurodivergent children. So my fight is specific to making sure that when I'm no longer here as advocate to raise my voice and say this is wrong, or to navigate a system that is specific and designed to be unnavigatable, right? That my kids, when they enter that PDD system, when they enter the AISH system or what have you, that the support will be there even if I no longer exist.
Right.
So that's my fight.
Right.
That's why I'm still doing this, and that's why I'm making it so that everything that's available is going to be there for years to come.
Well, and what an amazing thing, the fact that you transcend even physical proximity because your situation, is so synonymous with so many.
Yeah, well,
Um,
because I'm living in it too. I'm here
right,
too.
right. And, ladies and gentlemen, this really transcends the petty, what was it Freud said, the narcissism of minor differences. This transcends all that, right? We can love Trump, we can hate him. We can love Carney, we can hate him. This is the narcissism of minor difference. What Chantal is aligned with is the spirit of humankind, the fact that we are all connected, you see? And because she knows that, and because she doesn't judge the way so much of society judges. She basically just lives by the premise of knowing who she is. She knows, therefore, who you are. You see? Not completely,
And
not
it, it
totally.
does it does it does impact everybody, because even the general population that isn't on AISH or isn't on income support, or they're working or whatever, they are one accident away of needing AISH, of needing that blanket of community and support and services, and the government is destroying that. So what happens down the line there when Smith ends up getting injured for whatever reason and she needs to access the same thing?
Right, right. Well,
She's
that's
destroying a system that everybody should have access to and that needs access to it.
right. And this is the difference in one who holds humanity close to their heart and one in which their humanity has been stripped away and thrown away for a mess of pottage or for a nice gold cat in Saudi Arabia. You see? This is how we degrade ourselves as a species. And I think Chantal is giving us, as is Pam. Pam, you are out there and you know who you are too. Giving to a society for no return, except for the knowledge that you have done something for someone, and that, of course, can never demand a price. You see? And so, Pam, my love extends to you. Chantal doesn't even know you, but she's brought you up a couple times, just saying, "Oh, well, Pam, and it's so great to have Pam in here and moderate and blah blah blah." And we love you, girl. I mean, we really do. We think the world of you, and there needs to be more of the two of you um, out there. Once again, the petty, the narcissism of minor differences. We need to drop away. Maybe that's going to take another generation. Maybe it's
Yeah.
not going to come from us. Maybe we're going to be worm, whatever, food for worms.
But at least there will be a foundation to build off of.
Well, that's right. Well, see, the cup's always half full with you, isn't it?
Always.
Well, and
What's in the cup is the other question.
is right, exactly, right, exactly. Um, yeah, I mean, I think it's going to come from another generation. The real hard work to get us back to a salient group of individuals, global group of individuals, is going to be left to someone else. But you know what? Once again, I don't fight the narcissist because I'll win. I fight them because I have to. I didn't play drums because I wanted to meet chicks. I played the drums because I had to play the drums. You see? And if it were that I met a chick along the way, well, that was just a byproduct of desire in what I was doing. You see? And it's the same thing here. I don't look for anything except the fact that I know I have to do what I do because it's born in the nature of my personhood. And I believe that is not unique to me. That's in every one of us. Whether or not we want to take that journey is our decision, right? But I got a guy right now that's, I think, maybe autistic or something like that on the spectrum somewhere. And this guy's running his ass off, getting the protests together, doing so much shit, and he's got his things, right? Sometimes it's hard to understand him. He's a little quick. He, of his own accord sometimes. But I love him and he's getting the job done. And we overlook whatever comes our way. All right. So what I mean is everybody can do something. You can do it. You don't have to do it all. That's the beauty. You only have to do one thing. What's that one thing?
Everybody contributes to the group. Everybody, in one way or another. Like if you end up going through the library and you realize, oh hey, there's a specific topic missing, email me. I'll look into it. I'll do a report on it, because if it strengthens everybody's standing and understanding as to what's going on, I'm all for the back and forth. I'm all for that feedback from the community, because I'm not doing this out of just recognition. That's not what I'm doing this for. It's so that everybody has access to the same thing,
Right.
what they need to
Right.
strengthen their voice and their standing.
Right.
So
right.
whatever I can do to help.
Yeah, and for anybody out there listening to you, I mean, you come across with a certain academia and a certain knowledge, but it's not from genius that whence forth everything that you've done came. It was from desire. It wasn't because
I saw the fight and what it would be for my kids coming into the same system, the same broken system, and I couldn't not do something. So I just used my strengths, my need to research, my documentation background, and I had to do that.
Right. And what I'm saying is that it's not Chantal. It's, don't, if you're in the chat, don't think, oh, well, Chantal can do that because she's smart. No. It's not because Chantal's smart. It's because Chantal has a desire that can't be denied. You see? I'm not saying Chantal's not smart. What I'm saying is that it's not her aptitude, it's her attitude that has caused her to do what she does. She has to do it because she can't not do it. And so if you're out there thinking, well, these are just really two smart people. No, we're not. I'm a drummer, for God's sakes. And Chantal, I don't know, what she's into in her off time, or what she necessarily did. But we're not academics. Neither one of us is MIT. Okay? We are.
I worked in a office for people that were going and getting insurance, so an underwriting office, and I dealt with all of the insurance companies across Canada to get people mortgage insurance, life insurance, group insurance. It was our job to do that, to make sure that we had people going out to do the blood collections, the urinalysis, the paramedicals. That's all that I oversaw. So all of that documentation is something that I did for 7 years in that office.
Oh, wow.
And it just strengthened what I'm able to do here. And then what made it so that my goal was to make everything accessible is having 3 neurodivergent children in my house.
Right.
Because I can't approach the same topic with my eldest that in the same way that I would have to approach my youngest or my middle child.
Right.
Because there's a big disconnect between how they absorb information. So knowing that there's so much diversity within the disability community, I wanted to make that accessible to everybody, because bureaucratic shorthand just doesn't, it's not accessible to everybody.
Right. Right.
And I'm not going to use dumb it down, because that's not correct. You're not dumbing anything down. You're not dumb because you can't understand the bureaucratic shorthand. It is purposely that way to make it so that you don't understand.
exactly. I mean, my son is getting his master's right now, and he said to me, like, I got these papers and stuff, but I don't think you'd enjoy it because it's all academic bullshit. And I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, no, I don't care. Just give me the Reader's Digest version. And yeah, I mean, all of that stuff is either just for legal purposes to cover every ground, or it's purposely done that way so you never understand what the hell they're talking about. And this is where perceived genius is shown, but doesn't necessarily comport to anything real. Just because you know jargon doesn't make you smart. You know what makes you smart? Having 3 kids that are neurodivergent. Having to think every day creatively, how do I get this done? What does this person need? That is genius at work, not a paper that nobody can understand. Okay, so we get that right. And do you have more on the subject at hand on honorable what's or nuts?
Of course I do. I always
Okay,
have more.
right,
So with the housing connection, so Alberta is alone. Alberta is the only major province in Canada with no legislated rent cap.
right,
I don't know how many people actually know that or not.
right.
So British Columbia, their rent cap from 2026 here is 2.3%. Ontario is 2.5%. Quebec is regulated. Nova Scotia is regulated and Manitoba is regulated. Alberta is the only one that has a no cap, unlimited increase to rents. So British Columbia in a 12-month period can increase rent 2.3%. And that's their limit. They can't raise it any amount, right? So whereas here in Alberta, after a 12-month period, right, our our landlords can increase rent like thousands of dollars if they wanted to with no repercussion because there's no cap.
Yeah, yeah. I've got a quick story to say about that. I had a landlord once that wanted to raise my rent like $300 immediately, right? I mean, $300. Like I got in there on a wing and a prayer anyway. And then she wanted to raise it $300. I kind of, argued with her a little bit on it, well, what about this? And then I called to see what the legal aspect of it was. And they said, no, she has to give you 3 months to raise your
Yeah.
rent. So this lady said, that's fine. I found that out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep your rent the same way it is for 3 months, but then I'm going to raise it $900 to get my money back in 3
Yeah.
months, and I'm going to keep it $900 more per month. I'm like, who the fuck does that? Like, what
Mm-hmm.
kind of person are you? But she could legally do it.
Mm-hmm.
And wow, like, and I, out of pressure, I stayed there. Well, I stayed there for the 3 months because she couldn't do screw all. And then I left in 3 months before
Yeah.
she could actually pull the trigger. I couldn't believe, and this was a Christian lady.
Yeah.
Huh? So just wanted to give that story.
No worries.
Mm.
So I just have some breakdowns here. So Alberta experienced a 17.5% year-over-year increase in average rent in 2024, among the highest in Canada. Okay, so and then 2026 AISH living allowance was 1940 a month. So that's before the Canadian Disability Benefit clawback. Average Alberta one-bedroom rent is between $1,500 and $1,900 a month
Wow.
plus. Okay,
Wow.
so it,
Wow.
it isn't capped at $1,900 a month. After rent, as little as $40 a month for food, utilities, transportation, medication, and clothing for the average AISH recipient. That's not livable. That's barely survivable,
Well, it's
right?
it's not
So
it's not survivable. Yeah.
no.
No.
Where is it here? 86% of AISH recipients are single individuals. So I got that number directly with what's published online. So for single parents requiring 3 bedrooms, which is what I'm experiencing, average rent for a 3 bedroom is $21.38 a month, and it already exceeds my like the entire AISH payment.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Which is nuts. But you also have to remember that people that are below the poverty line, like myself, because all that I have is AISH coming in, there are certain like child tax credits and stuff like that that come in. All of my children have the have a disability tax credit attached to them, so I have a little bit more to play with every month. But yeah, it's just not feasible for a lot of people. Like with the ADAP switch, they want me to look into after school care for my children, depending on what kind of work that I would be possibly doing. It isn't feasible. With three neurodivergent children, a lot of daycares aren't going to take them.
All right.
My eldest is too old for daycare, so it's a major contradiction. Like a major contradiction. They expect you to do all of this stuff to keep generating your income, but at the same time they make it absolutely impossible.
And it's interesting that they split it up too. Like you just don't get a lump sum because based on your needs, right? You get this and then you get that. So it makes it easier to lose that because it's only part of the whole. You see what I mean? So if they want to, it just makes it easier for them to pull away that or reduce that over there, right? Which throws you into precarity instead of having to mess with the whole chunk.
Yeah.
And it should come to you if it's assured income as just your basic amount. This is what you get. Enjoy your life for the next
assured
month.
is supposed to mean guaranteed.
Guaranteed. It's supposed to mean
that's literally what assured is. It means in the dictionary is
right.
Guaranteed.
Guaranteed.
And that's not what we have.
Guaranteed and absolute.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's absolute. Right? Meaning there's
if it was assured and it was actually guaranteed, we wouldn't have so many people across all of the AISH pages going, I didn't get my check. I called the check line and nothing's been deposited for me, or there's nothing there. That's not assurance. That's not an assured income.
Right.
So they need to drop that completely or fix it, because that's not how that's not the definition of that word.
No, it's a contingent income.
Yeah.
Right? It's a good little girl or boy income.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, wow. Yeah, keep going. Wow.
So the 63% rent hike by ministerial order, May 15th, 2025, Minister Jason Nixon signed an order in council removing the $735 AISH exemption from community housing rent calculations.
So what does that mean?
And then,
what does that mean?
So on all of our what is it, our bank statements that we get there, or our payment statements from AISH, there's an actual housing cost that they'll pay us.
Okay.
Right. So they removed it.
They removed it.
Yeah.
Meaning that, and that was a $740
$735. Yeah.
Removal.
Mm-hmm.
So your check should have been.
So now it's no longer exempt.
Okay, but so are you saying then that your check should have been $735 more a month?
No, what they used to do is they would take that amount and they would calculate it into how much it was percentage-wise, because it was supposed to be a specific amount of your entire earning or paycheck that you received from AISH. They would only take a specific percentage of it to go towards your housing.
Okay.
Right. So, and they would make it so that $375 wouldn't be touched in that calculation. So that was a guaranteed $735 per person that they would have from their check to go towards bills, food, clothing, medications, all of that.
Okay.
And they've removed it from the exemption. So now it is part of the calculation. That's part of the money that you will be paying out for housing.
Okay.
And it's not across the board. It's only certain companies or certain places that are doing that right now. So effective October 1st, 2025, rent jumped from $349 a month to $570 a month. And that's where that 63% increase comes in. And there was zero consultation with disability advocates.
Okay.
So they didn't ask. They didn't ask about, oh, hey, we want to raise this 63% and take the $735 off of the exemption list. on how we calculate how much you're going to be paying. So that's a lot of money for somebody who needs to pay out of pocket for prescriptions because they're no longer covered under the Blue Cross.
Hey,
So how does an AISH recipient make up that difference?
Hey, middle class, they're coming for you next. Trust me.
Oh, they've already increased rent, or what is it? Not rent. They've already increased taxes, like a tax percentage for them.
Property tax, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like if you don't understand the game that's being played right now, with everything that Chantal is giving you, then you don't understand history. You don't understand that, and once again, I'm going to use the analogy and stick with me. But Hitler didn't start with the middle class. He didn't start with the Jew. He started with the disabled and the homosexual. He started with those two classes. So if you don't see the parallel here, I'm not saying that Danielle Smith is Hitler. That's not my point. So the point,
she just removed pride stuff out of classrooms.
And
so I would say that it's definitely a correlation or a parallel happening, because she's already gone after the pride section, and now she's going after disabled. So who's next?
Right. And, just for the sake of whoever's watching out there and whatever political persuasion you think you are, there is a debate over the ideology of gay and at what age and things like that, right? Like, when should you, teach a kid, I mean, when I went to school, I think it was either junior high, like grade 9 or something, where you start to get some sex education, right? And I guess that was fine. I could handle it. We could joke about it. We made dirty jokes, and but we were okay knowing that.
Now it's grade 4. It's introduced in grade 4 sexual education.
Well, but you know what isn't introduced at grade 4, Chantal? How to balance a checkbook.
Nope.
Right. So.
Or how to navigate the system or understand the paperwork that you're going to run into as an adult. That
right.
makes you scratch your head.
Right. Right. The actual things that are going to cause either your stability in life or your complete annihilation from it. So they're teaching you whether or not you're a girl or a boy or whatever they are at grade 4 level, but they're not telling you how to navigate your life. They're once again, it is identity over pragmatism. The pragmatic thing is that you need to know how to live. How you want to live is up to you. It's your choice. Mm-hmm. Nobody denies the fact that if a guy wants to wear a dress, he can do it. I think I saw Brad Pitt in a kilt in one movie. I thought, not bad, maybe I'll try it. It's not about that. It's about the core fundamentals of living. It's not about your identity. Okay,
it's not about self-expression.
Well, because you should be free to express yourself within limits, as long as you're not harming people, and as long as whatever group of individuals you're talking to actually have the wherewithal to understand what is being projected, right? You know what I mean? I mean, you have to be old enough, for people to know some things. I didn't teach my kids sex when they were 2 years old, or even 6 years old. Maybe at 6, I said, well, I mean, how do you do that, right? I mean, like this goes there or whatever, right? But, all of these things are doable and manageable, and your identity is manageable. Knowing who you are is just a part of being human, okay? And I think we've gotten a little carried away with identity, right? Mm-hmm. And you can see it in everybody. You see it in the political system. I identify as a liberal. I identify as a conservative. That's your identity? Doesn't your identity go deeper than that? Isn't your identity the fact that you merely exist? Right? That you are consciously aware that you exist, therefore you exist. Isn't that the basis of all identity? Like, come on. And once you know that about yourself, then live. Go on and live. What is being stripped from us is our ability to live on a planet in which we have access to the same amount of property, land, and ownership of it than Jeff Bezos does. You see? But we don't have that. What we got is nothing, and even what we have is being taken away from us. And Jeff Bezos, at the same time, has exceeded his natural allotment in life and gone on to create more at the expense of everybody else.
Mhm.
So come on, people. I mean, let's think about this. Your identity is already known by you because you have a conscious awareness of the fact that you exist, right? I forget who said
And
it.
we're not saying that extra work shouldn't include, you know, having grander living accommodations, right? Or being able to afford the nice things, right? That's not what we're saying at all. We're saying that people that are disabled have the same right to exist and to be able to survive and live in this world as everyone else should,
Well, that,
regardless of their income cap.
well, that's just it. And then you add merit on top of that. You see what
Yeah.
I mean? So everyone has the respect being born on this planet, I believe, to live, to
Yeah.
be taken care of by your own hand, by your community's hand. And if that community is partly government, then the government. Okay?
Yeah.
Number one, if someone becomes, and in that system, people will suffer less. They'll suffer less psychological breakdown. They'll suffer less of everything, biological dysfunction, everything, right? Then what happens? If you live in that society, you are able to freely express what it is you were put on this planet to do. Okay? And everybody inside them knows what that is. For me, I know that's a drummer. For
Yeah.
Chantal, I believe it was uh,
Advocacy.
advocacy. Well, no, that what was it before that about? Oh, marine biologist, right?
Yeah.
Right. So she wants to go on to be a marine biologist. Well, she's got the support. She got the money there. Her whole community is around her going, go Chantal, go Chantal. You see what I mean? And Chantal goes. She's got that support. She's got that push, you know, that you are the wind beneath my wings, you know, that kind of thing, right? She's got that, right? And then Chantal does something. I'm a musician, okay? I become a masterful musician. Well, maybe I get a nicer chandelier in my house. That's meritocracy. But what I don't get is the ability to destroy the system by having too much of a thing. And this is what we see. It's not wrong for me to gain from my mastery. That's not wrong. But how much I gain is, I think, what you were saying. Is that right, Chantal? Like
Yeah.
you're saying that,
Like
yeah,
you're still like you're putting the work in and you still deserve whatever it is that you're getting, but not at the cost of everybody else. Right? Like, and I'm not saying that you know, I want anything for free. I'm not saying that at all. Or that I'm entitled. I don't agree with entitlement at all. Um, if you're looking at it as a community and your goal is to enrich the lives of everybody around you and to give them all the um, same support structure as what you had, that's what the goal is.
hmm
Right,
hmm
instead of going, oh well, because you grew up in a household that was poor and below the poverty line, oh well, you're never going to be able to get the education that you need.
hmm
Right, because like for me, when I was very young, I wanted to be a marine biologist, but that would have been 25 extra years of education at that point. And I wasn't prepared for that, or the student loans, or the cost of that. Right, so it was okay, well, that was my dream, that's what I really wanted to do, but it just wasn't feasible for my background and where I was. Now, if I would have been born into a more prestigious class, right, where money was no problem, I think even with what I'm doing right now, I would still be doing it because it's the right thing to do.
right, right.
And I'd be a bigger problem for people because I'd have the financial backing to be able to pass the popularity contest to become somebody in government.
Right, right,
And imagine how bad that would be.
right.
I'd be overhauling everything.
Which shouldn't be a popularity contest. It actually should be demanded of every citizen.
Yeah.
As far as I'm
But it is.
concerned,
That's all it is a popularity contest. If you have the money to do the riding, you have the money to pay for sponsorship, you know, you're writing those checks. That's what gets you in, Gavin. It's not who you are as an individual. It's not your moral compass. It's not the fact that you're not or that you're strong enough not to be a puppet for somebody else who's pulling the strings. That's why regular citizens aren't getting into government, and that needs to change.
absolutely. That's what Socrates
Because like
said.
I would go into government, okay? If I could pass the popularity contest, I would go into government and I would take minimum wage payment to do my job
Right,
because I am not above anybody else.
right, right, right. There's a politician in Seattle. Her name's Shama Sawant. And she was part of the council of Seattle, and she did that. She would not take any money above whatever was the average living cost of an individual in Seattle. She lived in a modest neighborhood, and she's now, I forget, the People's Party, something like that, in the U.S. And I like a lot of what she has to say. I don't agree with all of it, because I think some of it is based on identity, which to me is getting away from the actual issues. Identity is not a political issue. Identity is expressing yourself in a world. That's all it is, right? And your identity
Yeah.
is already known. Your identity is the fact that you exist. You are a human being with equal rights and equal access to everything. Not equal outcome. That's a different thing.
Yeah.
But you have the equality of access to everything, and then you can prove yourself worthy or not. That's up to you. But we don't see that. We don't have that. You know, it reminds me. I don't know if you've ever seen it on Facebook. They did this. This test or whatever, this thing where they had people all lined up in a row to run a race, right?
Yeah.
And the finishing line was further down, and they said everybody uh, that's never been that grew up in a middle class household, or let's say anybody that grew up in a wealthy household, take 2 steps forward. And so those that grew up in a healthy household took 2 steps forward. Now, anyone who was never in an abusive family home, you know, physically abusive, take 3 steps forward. And some people would take three. The bottom line is it came down to the fact that some people only had to take 2 steps to win the race, and the other people were at the
Yeah.
starting line still, right? Because they had suffered abuse, low income, all of these things. And so it was a real interesting visual as to how people are able to win this race that we call it, just by
Yeah.
the mere fact of their lot in life, having nothing to do with meritocracy, having nothing to do with how good they are at a thing, just their conditions. And you know, you saw black guys at the beginning of the line going, well, we've lost, you
Yeah.
know, before we started, we've lost. And so, yeah, this is the equality of opportunity, but not the equality of outcome. The outcome
Yeah.
is up to you, right? You know, this is why in schools a while back they had this whole everybody gets a prize. And I'm like, no, 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 don't do that to people. Don't do that to people. That's
Yeah. The
equal.
participation trophy era.
Yeah, right? Like, what a ridiculous fucking thing, man. No, some people are going to win, other people aren't. And what that's going to teach the people that didn't win that want to win is going to teach them what they need to do to win.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. As long as they have equal access to a coach, to, you know what I mean? To good running shoes, you
Yeah.
know? Oh,
Exactly.
yeah. So, anyway, I think we needed to work that, what that means out for people. Um, you can keep going if you want. Yep.
Just to continue on with the rent issue here. So let's see here. The three simultaneous blows. So the CDB clawback as of July 2025, the $200 a month. It actually started this April. Um, it doesn't matter now if you've been approved for it, denied for it. You have to get that information into the AISH offices. I know that they have an email address that you can even take a picture with your phone, your letter that came in from the CDB, describing what it is that their findings were, and they will. Well, the AISH office should, because they're expected to match whatever it is in the letter. So if you got denied the CDB, they shouldn't be taking that $200 off of your check. So that needs to be communicated with the office ASAP. Um, the community housing rent increase as of October of last year, the $221 a month, or the negative $221 a month, And then the ADAP benefit cut that's scheduled for January 2028, which will be another $200 deficit for people. Where is it here? So the total cumulative loss, including for 2028, is $621 a month.
Now,
Or
how
$7,420 or $52 a year.
so how are they doing this? Like, okay, so they claw back the, what is it, the CDB?
CDB.
Okay, so they
Yeah.
claw back the CDB. That's the first 200 gone. That keeps you at the 1940 or whatever, right?
Yeah.
What is the next thing to happen?
The community housing increase. So how some places are increasing rent by 63%, right? Because of them taking the exemption off of the $735, right? So that for anybody that's experiencing the increase or going to experience it, that's another $220 or $221 a month deficit that is just gone. And that's just for housing cost.
Okay, now my research
Um,
my research shows me that it's not always 63%, but based on certain parameters, it can be up to 63%.
yeah,
But once again,
exactly.
that just throws you into precarity as not knowing what fucking cohort you are.
Yeah,
Right,
exactly.
right.
It makes more unknown, and that's just because of the non-cap in Alberta. Like they could have said, okay, no, we're going to increase it 63%. We're removing the $735 exemption from AISH benefits in regards to how they calculate the housing or community housing rents, right?
Right.
Across the board.
Mm-hmm.
They could have done that and made it a hell of a lot easier.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the only reason why they haven't done that is because some of the Savita housing or community housing, there's such a difference in cost between them because there's no cap, there's no regulation there,
Right, 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 right.
which
So are
is
you,
they just make it more difficult than it has to be.
so are you saying that subsidized housing also has no cap?
Yes,
Really?
they go off of the percentage of what it is that you bring in.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so it is capped to percentage.
Yeah.
Okay,
But now
okay.
they've raised it 63%. So there's certain things that were exempt in
Mm-hmm.
that calculation that are no longer exempt within that calculation.
Okay, so that's their way
And
to.
they can get you any way, shape, or form between those two numbers, right?
Exactly. So yeah, it's just that's their way of fucking you. I get it. Yep. Good. Great.
Exactly.
Yep. Yep.
So, and then the $200 a month decrease, okay, with ADAP. Now it's really precarious as to what they're saying is happening with ADAP. There's not supposed to be a decrease in what we're making a month right away with the transition from AISH to ADAP, but there are some what do I want to call them? There are some hidden things with that. With the ADAP switch from AISH to ADAP, you will be expected to jump through hoops
Right.
in order to get your payment at the end of the month. So whether that's in the form of going to these workshops that they want you to do, being in the offices of these disability employment offices, right, for a specific amount of hours or what have you, right, they're still going to withhold checks. It's not guaranteed. AISH has never been guaranteed, so ADAP is going to be worse.
Right, and we tend to forget that really important thing that was one of the first things that I read that freaked me out about this was that we're going to have to do these dumbass fucking workshops again that mean nothing, that get you nowhere, that get a 60-year-old having to write a resume that's been a musician his whole life and has, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, and all of us, whatever our story is, uh, when we've already been determined unable to sustain consistent employment, right? So,
Exactly. And that's
right.
the biggest issue is everybody that is on AISH has proven without a doubt that we belong on AISH.
Right. Right.
And yet now
Right.
they're throwing that determination away and we have to reapply for AISH after July 1st, not before July 1st, after July 1st, in order to go back to AISH or to be denied. And we cannot appeal their decision. We would have to reapply and reapply and reapply.
Right. Right. Yep. Let's not
So if
forget
we
that.
get a denial, we can't ask them, well, why was I denied? And then you re-tier your information, which is how appeals usually work. They're just going to deny you outright. They're not going to give you a breakdown as to why.
Not even a reason.
No.
No. Let's remember that, ladies and gentlemen. Let's really remember that. That's what this really is. It's a way, it's not a way to get you back to work. Okay? That's not what this is. This is a way for you to fail. And we know, if we're honest with ourselves, most of us will fail at this insurmountable task the government has placed in front of us. That's what this is. It's not, oh, we think these people can work. It's that they know we won't, and we will suffer accordingly, and we will not survive through it. Sorry to bring that to you. That's how important this is.
And that's not a accidental oversight of the policy change or the switch from AISH to ADAP. It is intentional.
Yeah, that's not
because nobody was actually consulted about what their opinion of the ADAP program was. We were ignored completely. We were never asked, oh, hey, is this something that you're looking for? Because
Right.
there are employment programs for people already who are on AISH and who are working and who are employable. It doesn't make any sense. This is not a necessary program.
Yeah, this isn't an oopsie. This isn't somebody slipped on a banana peel. They know exactly what the fuck they're doing, and they're doing it to you. You need to ask yourself how you feel about that, and once you figure out how you feel about it, what are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why we need to, be able to connect these dots for people that maybe have an issue with being able to see the bigger picture. Because what's happening for a lot of people, or what's going to be happening for a lot of people, is not fair, and there's no reason for it.
That's what this Tuesday, noon at Calgary City Hall is all about. It's about protest. It's about standing there and calling to account those people in those nice cushy offices that think they're so great, that can't define the word, nefarious. All these smart people. This is the attention that we're getting. We're saying, come out of your comfort, you half-educated individuals, and stand with the people that you were elected to protect and serve.
Yeah.
That's something you can do. Each and every one of us can do it. And if there are a few that can't, there is all room for you not to. But most of us can. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If I have to be a little louder to substitute a voice that can't be there, you can absolutely be confident that I will. I'll be a little louder just for you.
Oh, honey, I mean, I carry you in my heart everywhere I go. You never leave my head, and you never leave my heart. And I know that you're right there with us. I know you will be. And we're doing it 2 days a week, ladies and gentlemen. This week it's going to be, I believe, Tuesday, Wednesday. We will send out all notifications about that, and we expect people to show up. I mean, God damn it, we can't do this. I can't do it alone. I will fail. You can't do it. Pam and I, standing outside with another few people, is not going to do it. You say that you have no agency. You say that this is insurmountable and worthless. Well, I'll tell you what. Gretzky said it, right? You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. This is your time to take the shot at the net. And you got to get out there. You got to support us. And together, not me, I'll fail. Pam will fail. Chantal alone is going to fail. No doubt about it. But together, it will become undeniable. It will become a spectacle, something that cannot be denied as an observance. And these people will have to reckon, whether they come out or not, they're going to feel a little under the collar, right? That's what we bring. We bring the heat. So let's bring it, and let's not make an excuse as to why we can't.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What do you think?
Oh, I think we're in for a fight, and I'm
Yeah.
ready to fight.
Yeah. Yep.
So,
It's got to be done. We're thinking about.
and the biggest thing that is going to take away the government's power is knowledge and information, and it is accessible to
Mhm.
everyone.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I would
So
say.
even if you're a keyboard warrior, you know, and you just that's all that you can do is sit behind your computer, there are lists of email addresses that are available that you can, you know, send documents to. Let's flood everybody that we need to flood.
All right.
Everybody can come to this fight, whether it's physically, emotionally, keyboard warrior, phone calls, whatever your capacity is, you are welcome to join the ranks
Crash the server.
because this is everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we need knowledge and we need the masses. We need
Yeah.
people out in droves. And yes, that could be through crashing a server, or that can be by crashing the glass ceiling of City Hall and all of these things. But we can only do it when there are enough people. I don't think people get that. It's a very simple concept. It almost seems too simple. But one person will not affect change necessarily. But when enough people say they've had enough, then it's enough. And that is just a true historical law of the universe that where there is a mass, it will explode. Okay?
Yeah. Well,
And
I've even been seeing things changing on my end. Like I started mass emailing government officials, government offices, community supports offices, and just people that are working close with individuals that need these supports. And it's funny because as soon as I started sending stuff out, it was slow. The little bit of a trickle that was happening social media wise or on Facebook, the information is getting out.
good, good. So you feel good about that?
Oh yeah.
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 Yeah. I mean, hey, but once again, it's people doing it, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's more people doing the thing one person started doing.
Hmm.
Right.
I'm
And
not the only person that's sending out emails that everybody can grab from everywhere and just blanket it to whoever in your constituency, in your area, everything. It makes them look at the information and go, oh, hey, I can't stand and claim ignorance because now it's sitting in my inbox.
right. 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 Or it crashed my server.
Yep.
Right. And I would love those servers to crash. I think it
Yeah,
would
let's
be,
overwhelm the system.
yes, it would be a guilty pleasure.
Yeah.
Um, you know, I think we could probably shut her down for today, but um, I think we should, I'm going to reach out to Marie Renault and see if she won't come on, and you do it too.
Yep.
I think we can put some pressure on there. Um, ladies and gentlemen, whoever is in the chat or watching us at the moment, which is nobody, I will just say for whoever watches this back that you are appreciated. I mean, do you need to hear, do we all need a fire lit under our ass right now? Yeah, I think a lot of us do. It might be unfortunate that we just don't get off ourselves without the fire. But, what I'm speaking about is just trying to light a fire, is just trying to say, you can't expect somebody else to do your work for you. Right? And you don't have to do it all. That's the difference between capitalism and something else, is that the other thing says do what you can. Don't overload yourself. Don't destroy yourself by thinking you can do too much. But do something. What is it? What is your strength? Is it emailing? Is it shouting? Is it whatever it is, man? We all have something to offer. If we didn't, we wouldn't be here. You see? We wouldn't be on
Yeah.
the planet because it is intrinsic in the species, no matter how corrupt the species is internally or up here. The world has still granted us some agency somewhere, whether that's sitting and knitting or whatever it is.
Yeah.
We've all got it.
Everybody has their strengths.
That's right. And so I want you to utilize yours. If that's coming down Tuesday at noon to City Hall with us, that's what it is. If it's doing the amazing work of Chantal and taking these things um, to crash the servers citywide, Alberta-wide, that's what it is. That's what your thing is. If you need help knowing what that thing is, reach out to either one of us and say, I'm just not sure. I know I need to do something. I don't know what that is. We'll help you figure it out. That's what
Yeah.
we're here for.
Because everybody deserves to be heard. And we're here to hear you.
That's the other thing. When you don't think you have a voice, you probably actually have a lot to say.
Yeah.
It's just nobody will give you the chance to say it. And in this room, in this, podcast.
In this community, you
well,
do.
right. In this community, in this podcast, you could say whatever you want. Anything you want. No judgment. You just come and you say it. And I've always found that the people that have nothing to say are the people that end up speaking the loudest. It's quite an amazing dynamic. And I think it's because they know their greatness, but they're afraid of their greatness. You know? And so it's a beautiful thing when you pull that out of someone and all of a sudden they go, oh my God, I didn't know I could do that. Right? And you're like, fuck yeah, hell yeah. You're coming back tomorrow to do that. How do you feel about that? That's why we're here. So, ladies and gentlemen, do you have any more to say, Chantal?
Nope, that should do it.
Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we love you here. You are loved by 80,000 people, whether you know it or not. At least 80,000. And for me, that's too many people to even know. But we love you. We care about you. We are all in this together. It's affecting every one of us in real time at every moment. We love you. Be well. And we'll see you back here again Monday. Not the weekend. We take the weekend off because, God damn it, we need some downtime too, We love you, and we'll see you soon. Thanks, Chantal.
Thanks.